Hi everyone, welcome back to Dramatic Budgets. If this is your first time here, then my name's Lisa and I'm on a debt-free and hopefully savings journey to get rid of what started out as just under £11,000 worth of debt. If you have been with me before, then thank you so much for coming back and joining me for another video. So guys, I am back. Today's Sunday. I am filming my videos hopefully as usual and getting them up for you as normal next week. So I've been away about a week and a half probably from your videos. I've been away for 10 days and it's been a bit it's been interesting. Oh guys, I've got such a good story to tell you. It wasn't good at the time, but I can almost laugh about it now, but I will tell you about what happened at the beginning of my holiday as we go through. Obviously today is going to be a check-in, but it's going to be a check-in for both week 1 and week 2 of June, just because obviously I was away for pretty much the whole of the first week of June and most of the second, so I didn't cash stuff. If you saw my videos before I went away, I didn't cash stuff anything, so obviously there is nothing in here because I didn't cash stuff, so I didn't actually have any cash. So we'll pop that to one side straight away. There has been some spending and I will explain it as we go along, but obviously we have got a few no spend days and stuff. But yes, so the weeks I'm going to do is I'll do them together. So we're going from the 2nd of June all the way through to today, which is the 15th of June. So it's a full 2 week period. So yes, so the Monday of week 1, I wasn't working. I had my annual leave had started, so I went for my nails doing and paid £40 for my fingers and my toes doing, and that was all put aside in my hair and beauty folder, so that is absolutely fine. That came out of my sinking fund. I then took the German girl that's staying with my mum to the local, I suppose, ice cream or dessert parlour. I'm not sure if Rassam's is a bit of a chain or not, but I took her for just some, it was kind of tea, but I'm not sure you can class it as tea if it's just pancakes and ice cream and sweet stuff. So that was £33.46 for the two of us. So we both had like pancake stacks, and we had a drink each as well. So that was that one. That came out of my social fund, so that was absolutely fine. Then I went away on holiday on Tuesday. So I'll start off on the easy one. They took £19 and a penny out of my plum account, so that goes into my savings. I don't worry about that because it's easily brought back if I need it to be, so we're not going to worry about this. Then goes the holiday spends. So I was flying, guys, at 6:15 on Tuesday morning. The airport that we were flying from is not the one that we normally fly from, but it had the better flight times going and coming back. But obviously with us going so early, I set my alarm for 1 o'clock in the morning because we wanted to be there in plenty of time. It's a little bit further away time-wise than where we normally go, but mileage-wise it was exactly the same amount. So all was well until I got out of the car at the airport and I put my hand in my bag to get out the money that I had put aside to give to my uncle for the petrol and all of that sort of stuff. To realise, to my absolute horror, that I had picked up my work bag and not my hand luggage, which meant I had everything I needed for work, my laptop, my college work, but I did not have my currency, I did not have my passport, and I did not have any of the other things that I had packed in my hand luggage. And I just freaked. Now, my other half does suffer with anxiety, which probably didn't help, but actually he was a lot better than me to start with. My uncle had taken me, and my mum had decided to come along with him for the ride. Had she not have, then we probably wouldn't have been quite as stressed, because she lives 2 days away from me, and so if I could have contacted her, she could have just picked up my bag and actually bombed it down the motorway. As it was, she was with us, so that was not a possibility, and they worked out for them to come all the way back and back to my house and back again would have been a 3-hour round trip without stopping. And by this point it was after 4 o'clock, so that was going to be too late for the flight. I was having a bit of a meltdown at the drop-off point, and my mum phoned my sister. So bearing in mind, there is nobody that lives nearby me that has a key to my house and my mum's house except for myself, my mother, and my my uncle, all of which were at the airport. My sister lives an hour away from us. So she, bless her, my mum sort of phoned her and got her out of bed via her other half, because her other half always has his phone switched on overnight, whereas she always has it on silent. She jumped out of bed, put some clothes on, and basically bombed it down to my house very quickly, got in and picked my bag up, and then she and my mum worked out sort of a halfway point down the motorway to essentially wang my bag into the car and get it back to us, and get it back to me at the airport. So yes, it was a very stressful time. We were flying with TUI, and I have to admit that the TUI staff at the airport were absolutely fabulous. I walked in drip white, shaking like a leaf, not really able to sort of focus on anything, and the lady that was sort of in the TUI uniform in the check-in queue sort of calmed me down and said, "Don't worry, you know, we'll do what we can. You just organise getting your passport here. We can get your partner through in a little while, if it looks like you might not be able to, and if needs be, we can try and help you organise a later flight. It's not a problem." She pointed us in the direction of Greg's, so that is where my first cost was for that day. And we essentially just sat, or I did, in a bit of a zombie-like state with a coffee, while I just hoped and prayed that my family was able to get my passport to me on time. I then walked back across. It did not look like I was going to be going on that flight. So I organised my other half with the TUI staff to get him through the bag drop, because we'd already checked in. And they fast-tracked him through security so that he could get to the other side and kind of organise himself and obviously get on the flight. In the meantime, they were in contact with me and I was in contact with my family. And at one point, it looked like we were going to be about 5 minutes too late for me to be able to catch this flight and get my bag in. I was not holding out any hope of being able to get on. I was looking at Ryanair flights and all the rest of it and just hoping and praying that I could, get a flight. I found one for 3 o'clock that afternoon, which was going to cost me, obviously, with my bag, because I already had all my luggage there, was probably going to cost me close to £200 to be able to get me there, and would have landed at like 8 o'clock at night. Bearing in mind we were supposed to be landing at like 11. So yes, it wasn't the best day. And literally another TUI staff member ran round to the check-in desk and said, "What is the latest that this lady can possibly get her bags on this flight and get herself through?" And they said that was at 5:30. So I was on the phone to my mum, and my mum literally said, at this point the weather was horrendous. It was absolutely siling it down. It was chucking it down with rain. Visibility was very poor. So obviously I didn't want them to be having an accident because of me, because at the end of the day it was completely my fault. You know, if I'd have had to pay everything out, then I would have done. But the TUI staff member said, look, you go and wait outside for your mum and your uncle and see what happens. They then came out and followed me with like 2 minutes to go and said, where are they? And I said, they're literally down the road from the airport. They are on the way. They should make it. So bless him, he asked me what the car was. I had no idea. I had to phone them up and say, what's the make and model of your car? Because I just knew it as a white car. So I told him what it was. He stood at the other end of the street, the road to me. I could see them come in. I managed to tell him, and he literally ran and met this car, my uncle's car, grabbed my passport and my hand luggage off my mum out of the window of the car and ran back across the road. We then all ran to the check-in desk. They got my bags through, and then he put me through fast track security, which in fairness, I think the normal security queue would have been better because they put everybody fast track that's got, children and wheelchairs, pushchairs, all of that sort of stuff. So it didn't really help. I was actually longer. But I managed to get through, run to the toilet, because by this point I was absolutely dying. My other half had been and got us some waters from WH Smith's, and literally we must have sat on that flight, clipped in, and pretty much they shut the doors and went. I have never, guys, been so stressed about the flight. I have never, ever done anything like that before, and believe me, I will not be doing that again. And you know when you're sort of like talking to yourself and you're trying to remember what it is that you did and how you possibly managed it, and I still to this day don't really understand it. Obviously it was dark outside when my uncle pulled up, so I had the hand luggage on the settee, which is in front of my living room window. I watched my uncle park up outside my mum's house, and I literally had my hands in the hand luggage. I zipped it up, and then the only thing I can think of is that I moved the case, my suitcase, nearer to the door, and then I've turned around, and instead of picking up the bag that's on the settee, I've picked up the bag that was on the floor, which was obviously my work bag. Now, the only reason that I had the work bag was because I had worked Saturday and Sunday, and I don't work at my normal base. So if I'd have been working where I normally work, then I would have left it there whilst I was on leave. But I wasn't, so I had to bring it home. So it's just a matter of, it was just a few things that happened that, it is what it is. Thank the Lord I managed to get on the flight and I didn't have to pay out any extra money or anything like that. TUI staff were absolutely fantastic. I couldn't thank them enough. I could have kissed them in the end. And my partner sent a really lovely complimentary email for the team because, as you probably know, depending on where you work, people are very, very quick to point out when people do a bad job, but not always quite so good at pointing out when you've done something really good. And believe me, had it not been for those sort of staff members, I would have just been in a puddle on the floor, and I would have been getting a Ryanair at some point of the holiday. So yes, so that was my stressful story. Yes, let's just say I'm terrible anyway because I have anxiety dreams the night before a flight. I always do, because I always have the dreams of, missing the flight or forgetting the passport. It's the first time any of my actual dreams have come true, and I thought I was living a nightmare. But we managed to sort it. So yes, so TUI was fantastic. I cannot compliment them enough. So yes, so that was Greg's. So Greg's was £6.10. That was for 2 coffees. And then obviously because we hadn't then had breakfast, because the plan was originally to get through security and have breakfast in the airport, I spent £19 on the actual flight. I think that was for a couple of coffees, a twirl and 2 sandwiches. Oh, it was 2 meal deals that they did on the flight, so that we could eat. So that was £19. They both came out of my holiday fund, so that was fine. Wednesday, I ordered some more tablets for the dog, the joint vitamins, so because I knew that I'd need it for when I came back off holiday. So that was £22.95. That obviously just came out of my money because I didn't it was going to come out of my pet fund, but I'll kind of explain that when I get further down. I didn't have any spending for the rest of the week because I was on holiday and everything was budgeted and we'd taken money. I'm afraid, guys, it's gone really dark outside, which is probably why there's extra shadow, so I apologise. So then week 2, so we'd hired a car on holiday. That was another great thing. I'd hired a Seat Ibiza automatic. And when it came, bearing in mind, guys, that if you know your cars, I'm not right cracking with them. The last time we'd hired a car, we hired a Fiat Panda, which was it was a manual, and believe me, for the hills in Tenerife, it did not get up them very easily. I ended up with a Hyundai Kona, pretty new, automatic, massive car, hybrid, but my God, was it a great car to drive. And we went, so I needed to pay for parking on the Monday because we went out, so that was £5.91 for parking. You couldn't pay by cash, so we couldn't use the currency we got, so I used it on my card. So again, I took that out of holiday money. We then had no spend days right up until Friday when we came home, because obviously everything was budgeted in there. The food on the flight, we just got a couple of coffees and a bag of chocolate. That was £9.40. And I nipped to Greg's on my way out of the airport just for a big bottle of water because we were dying of thirst again. That was £1.95. Again, they came out of my holiday fund. And then obviously I nipped to Morrison's on the way home for a couple of bits that I needed, you know, milk and fruit and stuff. So that was £9.69. Then on Saturday, I went to Slimming World. I paid for my countdown, but I also needed a few bars as well, so it ended up being £33.65. £30 of that came out of my sinking fund, the rest came out of my money. And Amazon, I've had to order. So I mentioned before I went away that the pooch has not been terribly well. I thought he was getting better before I went on holiday, but unfortunately whilst I've been away, he's kind of been not getting well, I suppose, getting worse to a point. And it came to a head when he didn't eat for an entire day. Now, he's a really good eater normally, and he's one of these that he'll maybe not eat in the morning or even at lunchtime, but then he'll eat all of his food at tea time. So he always has food. And my mum just said that day he just wasn't interested at all. So she's taken him to the vets whilst I've been away. Obviously she didn't tell me because she didn't want me to worry. So she took him to the vets and he had some blood tests. She essentially not his normal self for the majority of the time. It's more his bowel movements that are the issue. So she took a sample in. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. They took some blood and said that there was a few things that were deranged, but it was something that she said, like the phosphorus, I think it was deranged. So that would explain the other things being deranged, and they weren't worried about that at all. So I came back from holiday and they'd given my mum some sample pots, and essentially they want a load of different samples. So I've spent the weekend since I've been back collecting these samples. I apologise, guys, if you're eating or anything like that. So tomorrow I have got to take those and drop them off at the vets on the way to work, and find out sort of how long, because they need sending off to an external lab. to be tested. So I need to find out how long they'll take to come back, but also how much it's going to cost me. So obviously my mum has paid for some of the vet stuff whilst I've been away, so I've had to give her some money back, so that has essentially depleted my pet fund already, plus I've taken some money out of the emergency fund as well for that, because it was more than what I'd got saved. So I've not taken a lot out of my emergency fund. Obviously if it costs me quite a lot, then I'll take some more out. He is insured, but I just need to look at how much the excess is, because we've decided between me and my mum that we'd rather wait until we can put it all together in one big claim, rather than sort of paying excess every time for small amounts. So I'm going to sort that out. Oh, he's seen something he doesn't like. So the pet fund has gone, and so obviously some of my emergency fund. Obviously, once we put the claim in, we'll get back the money that we've paid minus the that money that you have to pay up front anyway. The excess, that's the word I'm looking for. So that's a little bit ongoing at the minute. So this Amazon, I've had to order some more of the digestive paste that they suggested. It was supposed to come today and it hasn't. It's now apparently going to come on Tuesday, and I think I've got about 1 dose left. So unfortunately, he's going to have to go without that for a couple of days. So we'll see how that changes things. But so the emergency fund may go down a little until we know exactly what's going on with him. Once obviously that's sorted, then I will organise to put some more money in it. But so long story short, the vets are sort of doing things. The vet plan that I have now set up, that I'd forgotten about, that I've paid for, actually did pay for the vet consultation itself. So at least we didn't have to pay for that. But some of the other stuff obviously doesn't come under it. So that's that. And then today I've just nipped over to Morrison's for a couple of things, because my mum's gone on holiday today, so I took them to the airport this morning. You'll be pleased to know there was no issues. They were straight through, no problems. So I took them. So when I've come back, I'm staying at my mum's this week with the German girl that's staying there. So I nipped over and got a few bits for tea tonight, and just a couple of bits that I need until my online shop order comes. So that is £9.45. So it's gone very grey and cloudy outside. I'm glad I've brought my washing in. So I think that's what's causing all the shadows. So guys, right, I'm sorry if this is a little bit long-winded today. It was going to be a longer video because it's 2 weeks in one anyway, but I just thought I can't explain my spending to you without explaining about what happened at the airport and obviously what's going on with the pooch at the minute. So we started off the month on £1,903.90. Nothing usually comes in anyway, so that's fine. So my house insurance went out as normal. Now my credit card did not, but I think the reason for that is because I had £200 in my savings, in my credit card pot. Did I write that down? I had £200 in my credit card pot before I went away, and so what I did is I paid that onto the credit card. So I think because it was quite a few days before, I think it's probably cancelled out the direct debit. So that's why that didn't go out. And then everything else, bills-wise, that's gone out is all the bills that didn't go out the week before. So the car tax, the vet plan, which is that I'd forgotten about. So this is £22 a month, and that includes a vet consultation, which I've already had, a nurse consultation, his vaccinations, his worming and his fleeing. Going forward, I'm going to use up what I've already got at home, and then I'll order it through them for free. it also involves like their neutering, but which is unfortunately which he's already had, and his microchipping, which he's already had, and a few little extra things which I don't know what comes under that exactly. But yes, that will be on my budget going forward. So that's £22 a month. The union fees, the council tax, the account fee for my bank, my TV licence and my mortgage all went out. So that was £539.29 in total, leaving £1,364.61. The only expense I've put down then is obviously the Vet UK for those tablets. That was £22.95, leaving me on £1,341.66. I paid £50 to Monzo for the penny challenge. I put £600 into sinking funds, and I had that £19 and a penny go to my plum account. So that was £669 and a penny in the end, leaving £672.65. I paid my sister £100 for my family debt. 17p was my overdraft, so that was £100.17 to total, leaving me at the end of week 1 on £572.48, which obviously was like £100 less than what I had budgeted. So yeah, but it is what it is. So week 2, we obviously started with that £572.48. Just realised I haven't filled this bit in. Nothing came in as expected. Then we had my iPhone went out as expected, and the dishwasher, it's the next 12 months of my dishwasher insurance. That's now gone up 40p a month to £5. So that ended up being £27.25 in the end, and leaving me with £545.23. Then obviously I did have a few extra expenses that I hadn't budgeted for. There was that Morrison's, the 2 trips to Morrison's, the bit of Slimming World money that needed to be mine, and the Amazon for him. So that was £38.78 in the end, leaving £506.45. No savings, no nothing, because I obviously wasn't here to do anything. And then I've had 57p of my overdraft, leaving me at the end of week 2 on £505.88, which obviously is quite a bit. It's like £130 less than what I had budgeted for. So because of that, I have changed my plan a little bit for this week coming up. So let me write that on, 505.88. There we go. Now, obviously, the only bill going out is my fridge freezer insurance. So that's only £2.99. So there's plenty of money in the account for that. We'll have my usual budget as if it was week 1 for my expenses. But I'm going to change what I'm going to do for my sinking funds and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the right amount in for 52 weeks and my Winning Wednesdays, but I'm just going to put £40 into sinking funds, just to give me that extra £60 sort of as a bit of a buffer for this week, just because obviously I'm going back to work and it's like trying to get back into somewhat of a normal routine, but I'm also looking after, she's 15, the German girl that's staying at my mum's. So obviously I'm going to have to be a little bit more organised, and I may need to go and do. I've also got my auntie this week, because obviously with my mum being away, because my auntie's got learning difficulties, routine's very important. So I'm still picking her up as I would normally. So obviously I just need to be a little bit more organised this week. So I'm planning to put less into sinking funds, just so that we can sort that out. So, somebody's banging outside, and the dog's not happy. But yes, that's the plan for this week. Now, I haven't got anything really booked in, except for my other half and I are going to see Greg Davies on Friday. So I have got some show money, I think, as well as some date night money. So I've got a little bit of show money, and I've also got a little bit of money in the bank as well as here, so that we can go out for some tea beforehand. I'm finishing work early so that I can come home and make sure the dog's sorted. obviously because she is staying at my mum's, I don't have to worry about the dog being on his own, but it means that I can sort of come home, give him a quick walk and stuff before we sort of set off, and make sure that she's got money so she can go and get herself pizza or whatever. But yeah, so that's the only thing I've got in the diary this week is Greg Davies on Friday. My family come back on Sunday morning, so I'm picking them up from the airport. If there's time when we get back, we might I might take my other half to go see his mum, but I will have to take my sister home to hers, so obviously I'll have to bring everybody here, drop them off, and then take my sister over to her house and back. So yeah. Oh, that was a long one, wasn't it, guys? So yes, that is all of my check-in, because there's literally not been any cash stuff, so everything's been digital, which, you know, does make it a little bit easier in keeping track, but as you guys know, it's a bit too easy, isn't it, to do the tippy-tappy of a card sort of thing. But yes. Right, guys, so I am going to love you and leave you. I am going to do my cash stuffing video next, and I'll get that up as usual as well. And then I'm going to follow that on with my Winning Wednesdays as well, so that'll be good. Yeah, and that should be it from me this week. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. There is, of course, the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. And, of course, there is always the comments box down below. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've all had a lovely couple of weeks that I've not been around. I am very behind again on videos because, obviously, I've been away and not been able to watch anything for a couple of weeks. So I apologise. I am trying to catch up, and I'm trying to like everybody's videos even if I can't comment. But yes, my boss isn't at work this week. She's on leave, which means when I'm in the office I do tend to put YouTube in my earlobe and do that whilst I'm working. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up a little bit with those. But until next time, guys, thank you so much. I hope you're all well. Please do take care, stay safe, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, guys.